think I'll make this clip part of the next video. I'm at Savannah, Georgia Amtrak station. The trains, I think the 2 trains for Amtrak that are running through come through at, I believe it's 1:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's more of a overnight thing. And then they had a subway train section right there that goes down to commuter train or something that used to run during the day, but because of COVID, they don't have them running the computer train anymore during the day, so the Amtrak station itself is closed during the daytime, which I'm fine with. They provided me with a very huge overhang for shade, and I believe there's an outlet around the corner on their side that works, that's past the pop machines, that I could plug into later if I had to. The train station opens at 9 o'clock tonight. It's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I just got here about an hour ago. I ordered DoorDash to here because I don't know if maybe I can do a thumbnail of it. Remember to do a thumbnail of it and show you on the video thumbnail. But this Amtrak is located in basically an industrial lot, and what doesn't look like it from the trees. They did a good job of keeping it covered from the trees, but there's a truck shipping dock over there, and then another shipping dock and an automotive thingy over there. It's pretty much all industrial for a good mile, probably that way. And the river, I think, is over that way. Of course, this has train track on this side. They'd have to cross, which I think you can do by going down that tunnel subway thing and out the other way. That would be my guess. You can cross underneath the railroad tracks platform on that side too, would be my guess. So you can enter the subway on that side and come up this way, or enter the rails that are underneath that it comes to. But what a wonderful world we live in, because I was able to order DoorDash, and I just went the cheaper route and got Taco Bell through DoorDash, and it's supposed to be coming to me right here at this park bench, and it will be today's lunch and part of dinner. But there is nothing anywhere remotely close to me, and then I have of course the big duffel bag with me, so I don't really want to pack it 400 miles anyway. But man, I just got to thinking, it's a special kind of world when you can pay somebody, money through an app to go and get you food for you in special places like this, where when you're in special situations like this where you're on foot. They have the vehicle, you don't. They take their time and effort and money, so I always tip them pretty decent on it on the DoorDash, because they've taken their time out of their life to provide a service like that, and they are another independent truck contractor just like I am. And so, out of respect, I do that. I just wanted to show you this, and I'll keep it in the clip, and I think I'll make this part of an Amtrak clip, because I am taking Amtrak to Washington, D.C. today, and most likely I'll have to stay overnight in Washington, would be my guess, because the connection for the other train, which is the Capital Limited, goes from Washington over to Elkhart, Indiana. That one departs an hour after this one will arrive. And that is just way too iffy, knowing the rails like I do. Most likely this train will be a couple hours late because the East Coast rail line and whatnot, and Amtrak's notorious for not sticking, they do the best they can, but they don't have priority on some of these rail lines. So that being said, I'm probably gonna have to take a hotel night in Washington. Hopefully there's one that I'm going to look at next, now that I reminded myself, and I'm going to look it up on maps and see what kind of decent hotels close to Amtrak there in Washington. Get a hotel overnight and then get on the Amtrak tomorrow. But check out the Capitol overnight, I guess. And this will be part of that clip. And I will show you a little bit of the Amtrak coming in for those of you who have not, ever taken a passenger train Amtrak in your life. I'll show you that next clip. Peace. Been a while since I've been here.
And if you're ending your travel here in Springfield and you have baggage under the bus, please be ready to claim those bags as you get off. Now,
I might try a single bag Nomad. video for y'all to show you how I live my life pretty much out of one bag. That has a sleeping bag in it, and that's it right now. And I mainly bought that duffel bag to pack that sleeping bag in so that everywhere I go, people don't see that I have a sleeping bag. They, you know, could be work stuff, could be clothes. Nobody knows what it is. That's why it's in a duffel. It's the main reason I carry a duffel around with me is just for the sleeping bag, and the sleeping bag takes the whole thing up. That's the only thing that's in there right now. And I'm going to go over the inventory with you. What do I pack because I'm doing laundry. And as a single bag traveler, you got to do your laundry a lot if you want to stay fresh. Take showers whenever you can and do laundry whenever possible. And I'll show you the cheap way here in a minute. This is a money belt. And if you're traveling through airports and TSA a lot, you want to get the belt that has the plastic belt buckle. And at first I thought this plastic belt buckle wasn't going to hold up. But so far I've been surprised with it. It has held up as good as metal. And it is designed specifically to get through the TSA checkpoints and not have to take your belt off all the time in TSA, because especially right now I don't have the money in there, but if you had like, you know, a couple $100 or $600 or something, a small amount of money in there that you have on cash, you don't really want to be taking that off all the time to get through their scanner machine. I prefer to keep it on. That's why I use the plastic belt now. When I first started, I had a metal belt buckle that would set the machine off all the time going through TSA. So very important that if you use airports and TSAs a lot, that you get the money belt that has the plastic belt buckle and get a money belt. That way you can carry stuff in cash away from your other stuff, just on the offhand chance if you ever got robbed. I'm not trying to scare people when they're not traveling. It's just better to be prepared than not. Next on the line is that's a portable battery pack. This one is, to charge this phone and the other phone. This is just my case for the phone that I'm filming on. It's a stand-in prop for it, but I carry two phones. It's always good to have two phones. That way you can leave one off and powered, charged, ready to go in case this one dies and there's some place where you need a phone and you don't have a power source, because that does come up from time to time. And a good old military saying is 2 is 1, 1 is none, and so on. And that's why I have a power pack backup and a backup phone and a regular phone, and both these phones have service. But you could go around with your old phone not having service on it, because you can still dial 911 even on phones that don't have service. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. I, however, have service on both phones because I use them all a lot traveling. The more and more you travel, the more you realize that it's just easier to pay for your own data than to use the Wi-Fi. It's nice to have Wi-Fi at hotels like I do tonight that I'm going to upload this video from, but a lot of times you don't have it easily available for you, especially if you're on foot. These cords, one is a Type-C, one is a regular USB, and that is to charge the regular USB. It charges those two, and the Type-C faster charger charges this phone. That's my passport and my real ID, and pretty much everything that's important to me is on this one. And I leave it separate from my wallet for that reason, so that I use my daily wallet with cash and cards and stuff all the time. But then that has my backup IDs and stuff in case I ever ended up getting mugged or something. You have an option. This one is a necessity if you are in the transporting business like I am, where you transport cars all the time, so that you use AC or DC. It's nice to have an adapter that does both. However, on the buses and planes and some other places, it's hard to get to an outlet if you don't have a simple block. So I carry both because of that reason. This one sometimes won't fit into an AC outlet on a plane or a bus because you have to plug it in sideways. And this one doesn't stick. Sometimes I have indentions and stuff on the outlet, whereas this one would work. So I carry both. But it's nice to have DC or AC, and I use the DC AC one all the time as much as possible. That way I can just leave the cords plugged in and use it whichever power source that I need from it. But I carry that block on the offhand chance that I get on a bus or a plane that you can't plug it in it. Always have a nice beanie that'll keep you warm enough to keep your head warm, because if you can keep your feet, your hands, your neck, and your head warm, you'd be surprised what you can get away with in terms of light wear stuff that you don't have to carry around a heavy jacket for and still be able to be, out in colder weather, as long as you can cover up your head. Moving over here, I always have something emergency to munch on, keep your sugar level up. Like if you've been on the bus for hours and haven't had the opportunity to go buy something, I try to keep this stuff that comes for free. Well, not really for free, you paid for it through the plane, but they hand these out for free once you're on the plane. So I try to keep something to munch on just in case. Because you never know when it comes in handy. That'd be enough to get away with for a little while, to keep your stomach at bay until you can get somewhere to eat. This is my luggage locks I carry just in case I need to lock something up. I haven't been doing it lately, but if I get to a gate with this carry-on and they for some reason will not let me take that carry-on on, like I'm the last guy on the plane or something, I try not to do that. But if I end up in a bad situation like that, if they go to check my stuff, at least I can lock this bag up so that they can check it. And it is TSA certified locks, so if they have to go inspect my bag, they can use the key and unlock it if they need to. But that way it'll keep baggage carriers and everywhere else who is handling the backpack but don't necessarily have to get into it, it'll hopefully keep them out of it. But obviously, you know, I would, down there's a laptop, which I'll show you in a minute, I would take that expensive, valuable stuff to me, my laptop, my passport and stuff like that, out and carry it in my own pocket on the coat. And it would end up with just pretty much just clothes in the bag anyway. But I carry these around just in case again, because again, it's nice to have TSA certified locks that you could stick on there to lock stuff up. The white key is my storage key. These come in handy to take off and put on license plate fasteners for work, transporting RVs. I usually end up putting my transport plates on and off by screwing them on or screwing them off, and if the need be comes up, sometimes you need a sharp edge for different stuff. And usually you need a Phillips to be able to turn these screws, which are bolts and nuts for the fastener license plate fasteners to fasten on. I carry extras because some box trucks do not come with a fastener. Most RVs come with the fastener screwed in and you just have to unscrew it or zip tie it on, but some of the box trucks do not. So I always carry 2 fasteners just in case. Staples, I carry a stapler with me to staple my BOLs together when I get done scanning them. And the scissors I carry with me so that when I use zip ties like that, these heavier duty zip ties, if I drive an incomplete chassis, they call them, which is basically a box truck without the box on it, I drive them to where the chassis part was made and they're bringing it to put the box on it. And when you do that, they have the mud flaps like I've showed you in previous videos, and you have to zip tie them on. I need to go pick up some more heavy duty cable ties because I'm in Springfield, Ohio tonight to pick up such a chassis. So I have to stop by Walmart and pick up some more zip ties. Or I use these smaller zip ties. On some RVs have a ladder in the back, and it's just faster and easier to zip tie the license plate through the hole onto the ladder on the back if you're just going to run an RV a short run during the daytime. But if you're going to run it at night and you know you're going to be driving at night, you should take the time to screw it on the proper way through the fasteners. That way the license plates are at the license plate light so that it'll light up at night when you're driving at night, and you're legal that way, because otherwise you're technically not legal to drive at night with these plates on if you just screwed it onto the ladder. But during the daytime it doesn't matter. Front and back license plates. The front one has tape on it because I tape it up to the windshield so that you can easily see it. For at least the state of Indiana requires that you have a front plate. All the other plates for transporters anyway, all the other states only require that you have the rear one. Show them. I always try to carry extra silverware, spoon or fork, because when I get DoorDash half the time they forget to bring silverware, which, like, if you get a steak or whatever and they don't bring a fork, and I just think, how does the restaurant not know? But then they don't know, I guess, where it's getting delivered to, so who knows. Those are the last 2 BOLs, bill of lading, from the last 2 trips I took. This is paper logs because you have to prove to DOT if you ever get pulled over that you have forms of paper logs that you can use. If you're running electronic logs like I am, you have to have the paper back up on you just in case your app freezes or your phone dies or whatever. You have to be able to handwrite it. So I have it. This is the operating agreement, my insurance and all that, so I'm not going to show you up close, but basically operating agreement saying that I can be in the vehicle that I'm transporting, it's my insurance, and then permits for different states. This is the decal for quality. Basically, just for quality, all you gotta do is stick it up in the windshield, so I just have it in this plastic cover to keep the paper protected, and then I tape it up in the windshield when I go. But those are basically the 3 things that you would need to transport with, is your plates, your decals, and your operating agreement status, so that you have proof that you're able to be in that vehicle. Moving on, that's my wallet I use every day. I bought a new one from Amazon. That's slightly better than this one that I'm gonna get. That's still $100 bill wallet, because everybody comments on it. It's funny, but it is a little bit of a risk because you don't want to take that out in spots, sketchy spots like on a subway or something like that, where somebody might mistake it for an actual 100, you know, and try to rob you or whatever. Painkillers, I keep, whenever I stay at the better places, well, I don't want to say better, but better options for hotels, I try to stack up on the shampoo that they give you, because when you stay in some place like Motel 6, which is okay, but they only give you the bar soap and that's it. And I personally don't really like the bar soap, so I try to keep extras on me so that when I stay at these other places, I have something I could use. I keep a basic razor anymore because I just shave my cheeks off and that's it for shaving wise, because I just about gave up on shaving my goatee and everything else because it grows back in. The older I get, it seems like it gets worse. Electric toothbrush because I like to massage my teeth. This is prescription shades because I have a photo gray set of shades where they'll turn dark in the sun and then turn back normal, but when you're driving they won't, because they're behind the UV thing for the windshield, so they made it so they restrict them so they won't. So use them at nighttime, and I use shades during the daytime that are always shades. And then this middle canister right there is the glass cleaner that I use to clean my screens on my phone and to clean the glasses lenses. Buy the green tape from AutoZone. Don't go cheap and buy the blue cheap icky tape from Amazon or from Walmart. Go to AutoZone or O'Reilly's and buy Auto 3M masking tape for your decals, because that other stuff, once it gets wet or the wind comes along, that blue tape does not hold on. The cheaper blue tape does not hold on very good. The cheap blue tape is probably about $3 a roll. That right there is like $12 a roll, which seems expensive for that little bit of a tape, but as long as you're sparingly with how you use it, it'll last a long time, and trust me, it's worth it. At first I was like, damn, I can't believe I'm gonna pay $12 a roll for those green tape, but once I put it on the outside of the vehicle for Synergy, this one's quality, so I don't have to, I can put it in the windshield for quality. But on Synergy, they have these big magnetic decals that I took the time to buy, the magnetic ones, because they offer them. Because I've learned going through Wyoming that unless you have magnetic and taped up, the wind just eats those decals and takes them. Because you can't put them inside like you can with quality. With quality, I don't have no problems because I could just stick that up on the inside of the windshield and the wind can't get to it. And I wish the Synergy would run in that way. But Synergy, for some reason, wants to make more prominent in how they display their stuff or something. So you have to have decals on the outside of the vehicle, and I think it's the stupidest thing known to man, in my opinion. But I have to deal with how the company wants to do stuff. So if you run for a company like Synergy, which I don't have a problem with driving, I like working for them, their decals go on the outside of the vehicle, and if that's the case, you need to have the better tape to hold that on. And then it's worth the $30 to buy the magnetic decals on top of having the tape also. Just to, when you go through Wyoming, it'll strengthen the chance that you won't lose them. This stuff here is just extra stuff. Of course, that's the stuff for the hotel. Don't bother with that. I just bought this laptop the other day to be able to get taxes done. So far, I'm having issues with that. But normally, I don't pack the laptop with me. I just haven't got back to the storage unit yet to put it up in storage. This I started packing along with me. It's a Type-C end to a Type-C end, because Class B camper vans have that drive auto assist thingy where you can plug your phone in and put it in the dash away, and then use their system, their electronic entertainment system, to run the vehicle. And obviously I would use the music and the navigation through that system that they have, but it works with Type-Cs. So I started packing around a full-on Type-C cord to plug the phone in that I'm using right now. And if you plug it in, you can use it. You can also use Bluetooth, but that's not quite the same experience. And then this cord right here is a HDMI to Type-C, because I was trying to figure out how to use hotel TVs like this, which I haven't tried this one tonight. But certain brand hotel TVs that have the HDMI hookups, which I don't think this one does. I don't think it does. But you should be able to mirror your phone if you plug that cord from the TV to the phone. supposedly. I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet. And I might just throw that in storage. I don't know. It's something I bought when I was bored. Mouse for the keyboard. Plug for the laptop to charge it. That's everything that I carry with me. To do transporting, you're also supposed to have a set of 3 triangles on you, which I don't have, and a pocket or a set of emergency electrical fuses, extra set. Both those things are in my storage because this last trip I didn't take them. Now I'm wishing I did, because tomorrow I'm going to be driving an incomplete chassis, and it's basically screams commercial vehicle from a mile away, and I kind of wish I had that stuff on me, and I'm deciding I probably might go to Walmart tomorrow and buy $20 worth of stuff between the zip ties that I need to have on me no matter what, and the triangles, breakdown triangles, so that I'm legal, and then the set of flares, fuses. And then you're supposed to also have a fire extinguisher, but most commercial vehicles, like the truck chassis I'm picking up tomorrow, come to think of it, will have the fire extinguisher and the 3 triangles in it, because it is already a commercial vehicle. But the RVs that I drive for Quality and Synergy, they don't have emergency flare or emergency triangles. They do have the fire extinguisher, because it's by code they have to have it to sell it, but they don't have the triangles, and they don't have the electric fuses, the extra electric fuses that you have to have on you. And basically, if you get pulled over from DOT from any state, and they do an inspection, they want to see your operating agreement, valid plates, valid insurance, your decals, and the DOT number matches everything, matches that together, the plates match the decals and so on. And then they want to see that you have manual logbooks. That way you can run electronic logbook like I do, and then you have the backup manual paper logbooks in case your electronic goes down. And then they want to see a set of electrical fuses, a fire extinguisher, and 3 roadside triangles for breakdowns. And you have to physically prove that you have all that on you to do transporting. I just, at the moment, don't have it on me because I forgot to grab it out of the other bag. I was in a hurry last time because I had a car waiting on me. So I'll have to get it before I get in trouble on that deal. But basically, especially for the RVs, as long as you drive at or under the speed limit, most of the time DOT don't even look at you. It's a new unit for drive-away RVs. They're more worried about the transporters that do tow-away, because they have the pickup that transporters, you drive the wheels off the pickup just like truck drivers do to try to get the most out of their equipment. And that leads to wear and tear, and so that's why they're always inspecting the towaways, because of the older pickups that are pulling the newer trailers. But with RVs, knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx myself, most of the time they don't even take a second look at you. You don't even have to go in the scales into the houses. I mean, I do all the time when it says to or not. But you technically don't have to, and they wouldn't even look twice. Half the time they don't even realize that you are a commercial vehicle because you're in a brand new RV. And even if you are, they know you're in a brand new unit, so it's not worth their time to inspect it. Most of the time. But I thought I would do a video on inventory tonight, because probably about twice a week, I do an inventory at the same time that I'm doing my laundry, to make sure I didn't lose anything, because living out of a bag, it's very, very, very easy. Living this transportation lifestyle that I live, that you can very easily walk off and had a phone plugged in at the outlet or something like that, and walk off without the plug. So, especially with my getting older and everything, I just do an inventory of everything I have, because it's just my own peace of mind, double checking that I have everything still. And so I will show you the laundry, and that's the end of this video for now. I only have the 1 pair of shoes. Technically, you should also go around with shower shoes, like the plastic sandals that you can use on the beach, and then also use them in the shower and stuff like that. I just, again, forgot those in the other bag that I have back home, but that's another thing. And that way, if these shoes wear out or something, you have a 2nd pair of shoes to get around with that you can buy some. So it's, it's not a good idea at all to be out here with 1 pair of shoes, because if something happens, you're stuck with it until you get to a store to fix it. But I just thought I'd point it out. Oh, my light shut off for some reason. Timer. There we go. this regular set of clothes that I have, pants wise, and then I carry an extra jogging pants that you can use as long johns underneath those if you're in colder winter temperatures. And then obviously when you're not, you just use those pants. And then those pants have zippered pockets. I try to make sure everything I buy has zippered pockets. I've showed you this before, so I'm just going to go through it quick, but I just have a rain shell for 80 Bauer. My socks, I should have 2 pairs of socks, but I need to buy another pair. My basic long sleeve shirt for 80 Bauer, my underwear. All those, I have them washing or drying right now because I washed them in the hotel sink using the shampoo. It's not the greatest to wash, and every third time you do it or so, you should go to a normal laundry mat somewhere or another, either the laundry mat at the hotel or the public one somewhere, and go wash them for real with the machine. But this works the best so that you can just keep yourself clean in the meantime. But how I do it is I have the regular shirt, then I have this one that goes on closest to my body, then I have the puff jacket, which I can show you because I didn't wash it. That is the next layer, and this provides a bubble wrap kind of layer between you and the outside. And then you have that raincoat that you use in bad weather like rain and snow, which I've showed you before in a video. That one, light layer that doesn't have anything else that you just use in rain and snow. That way you can switch up different layers depending on what you need. Like the other day when I was in Georgia, it was hot and buggy, but it was raining, so I just used the raincoat instead of using everything else. And the secret is you get used to wearing the coat as a shirt on occasion, like I'm doing right now, because I was doing the laundry and I knew I was going to do a video. So I'm basically just wearing my jogging pants and the shirt, if you must know. But I always keep at least one outfit ready to go in case the fire alarm goes off or anything of that sort happens. But I'm in Springfield, Ohio, and this was kind of a last second thing because I originally planned on taking the train back from DC up to Elkhart and getting something out of Elkhart, one of the RVs. But this one, the timing wise, I ended up having to take a bus over to Springfield, and it was as cheap as the train would have been all the way to Elkhart. And I just decided, since I'm going by there and this is shorter, if I have to take a bus, I don't want to take a bus all the way to Elkhart, because it would have been another 10 hours or something, 10, 15 hours more on a bus. And now as is, I had to do 16 hours to get here after the train left me in Washington, D.C. I took 16 hours on the bus to get here. So between the train and the bus ride from Georgia to Washington over to Springfield, Ohio, that was a long time, because the train was 18 hours, right? I think the train was 13 hours and the bus was 16 hours, if I remember right. That stuff right there, I usually always carry on me, some kind of a liquid, some kind of a emergency food, so that you always have emergency food in case I get stuck someplace having to hitchhike like I did tonight. They dropped me off in Springfield, Ohio, but the drop-off point for the Greyhound here is the Love's travel stop, which tends to be outside of town. It's like 5 miles outside of town. And then on top of that, Ubers are very spotty here, and there's no taxi. Tomorrow I'm going to get a personal driver that we have looked up through Quality, but I didn't want to bother her tonight because I want to pretty much only use those private drivers when I'm going right to the plant. And I don't have the trip lined up yet. I requested it, but I don't have it confirmed or the email and paperwork yet, so I'm waiting until I do that tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's Monday. I'll call them and have dispatch do that and set me up, and then I will call our private driver in this area and she'll take me up the hill to the plant. But I didn't want to bother her today because if I remember right, she doesn't live in town here in Springfield. She'd have to drive here, and I didn't want her driving 30 or 40 miles just to take me 5 miles from the truck stop up to here. So I didn't bother her, and instead I chose to decide to go hitchhike to get here. And 4 minutes after I started hitchhiking, a Ohio State trooper showed up, checked me to see if I'm wanted, and then gave me a ride up here because it's only the next exit up. And I learned that trick in 2019. If you start walking on the interstate, even though they don't like you doing it, probably about 70% of the time you'll deal with troopers or some kind of cop or another will show up and give you a ride instead of normal civilians, because civilians just, they care about you walking along the side of the road 80-mile-an-hour traffic. They care about it, but they don't care enough to stop and help you out themselves. Every now and then they do, but I would say about 70% of the time when you start walking the interstate, you get a cop to show up, which partially was the plan tonight, so I could get here. Partially not, you know, I just took my chances, so to speak. It says it's illegal to walk the interstate because they have those no pedestrians on the interstate sign type thing when you're walking up the on-ramp. But in truth, those signs are not backed up by anything, so those are not enforced because of that. But my throat, I need to drink some water or something. So I will let you go with the end of this video. Like and subscribe, leave comments. I hope this video was informative. You've learned more about being a transporter, and at the very least, you've learned how to, you know, set up your own way for living out of, you know, a single bag if you're going to go traveling around the world, living in just one bag, living that one bag adventure. And I would highly suggest getting a carry-on that's long and thin for the airport the airplane overheads and the train overheads and the bus overheads. Don't get a carry-on that's thick and short. Get one that's long and thin. And most of the time get a duffel, even though it's kind of annoying to pack it around. There is a more expensive duffel that I have in my storage. That's 80 Bauer. That is both a backpack and a duffel, but it's more of the 30-liter, short and fat, and doesn't fit as well in the carry-ons, and so I got this one from Target. But that's another thing I would suggest for you. Is find something like that that's long and thin for doing, you know, out of the world adventures. Like and subscribe, leave comments, check out the merchandise below and in my description below on my channel, and I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.